Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to section 2.5, which is inverse variation. We'll get started off here. Here's the vocab you need to know. You'll hear me say this all the time with as far as the definition for inverse variation, so make sure you get that figured out. And then we're looking at two different types of equations there. Those are written down. We're going to use both of those in this video and in our assignment. Alright, so the first thing we're going to talk about is creating a table using our inverse variation equation 1. Okay, and that first equation that we talked about was y is equal to k over x. So we're going to create a table, which means we've got an x value and a y value. We know the x's. Alright, we know that we're going to start off with 1, 2, 3, or 4. We want to create it for values of 2 and 5. We're going to have two separate tables that we're going to make here. So what we've got, let me get this table finished, alright, is a value of 2 goes in for k. So that means our new equation is going to look like this: y equals 2 over x. Okay, and when we've got this, we know our x values, so we're going to put that in for x. So this first x value, we've got 2 over 1. 2 divided by 1 is 2. We've got y is equal to 2 divided by 2. We know that is 1. Y equals 2 over 3. That's 2/3. And then when we got y equals 2 over 4, we can reduce that to 1/2. Alright, so when we talk about this, when the x values go up, the y values get smaller. Right? Same thing, if the y values are getting smaller, the x values are getting smaller, the y values are getting bigger. We follow the same pattern if our y value is 5. So we got y is equal to 5 over x. We do the same thing, y equals 5 over 1. That's 5. Y equals 5 over 2. That's 5 halves. We can write it as 5 halves, or you can write it as 2.5. That's up to you. We got y equals 5 over 3. That's 5/3. We can keep it there, or you can write that as 2 1/3, or 1 2/3. Sorry, 1 2/3. And then we also have y equals 5 over 4. Okay, and that's 1.25. All right, so you notice that when we do this here, our x values get bigger, our y values are getting smaller. Okay, so that's one of the things you're going to have to be able to do is create a table, and then you also have to be able to look at a table and determine if it's a direct variation or a inverse variation. And we'll talk about that stuff in class, how we can easily determine those right away. Okay, so that's one thing you'll have to do. The next thing you'll have to do is be able to write an ordered pair. Okay, we're going to use the second equation, and that second equation is x times y is equal to k. Okay, this is the same exact equation that we dealt with before. The only thing that's different is instead of having divided by x, we multiplied by x on each side, and we end up with x times y. Okay, so now we're going to find x values that make it an inverse relationship. So that means if we were making a table, our x value would be blank, and our y values would have 2, 6, and 8, and then 12. We're trying to find values for the top that make it work. Okay, so our k value is 24. That's going to go in here. So I've got 24, and that's equal. And then we've got our y values is 2, so we've got x times 2. Okay, so now this is like what we had just on the previous quiz. We need to get x by itself. It needs to be alone. To get rid of multiplication, we divide. So I'm going to divide by 2. We got x is equal to 12. Put 12 there. Okay, we have the same thing. X times 6 equals 24. This time we Divide by 6, we get 4. We got x times 8 equals, we're dividing by 8, and that's on the 24 side as well. We get 3. X times 12 equals 24. We divide by 12. We get 2. Okay, so this was 4, 3, and 2. All right, so we've got our table values filled out. So now what they're going to want us to do is write this as ordered pairs. So that means as an ordered pair, we've got 12, comma, 2. That'd be one answer. 4, comma, 6. 3, comma, 8, and 2, comma, 12. Okay, we can check to make sure this is an inverse relationship. My x values are getting smaller. That means my y values should be getting bigger. They are. So that's good. All right. And you know, when we take a look at this times this is equal to k. Correct? So 2 times 12 gives us 24. All these values, when you multiply them together, gives us that k value. Okay? And here is your try on your own problem. This is very similar to what was done on the previous example. So make sure you are completing this and getting your summaries finished for class, and have a good day.